All right, let's roll.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Rogers Bean, born and raised in the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Lifelong Saints fan, born around the corner from the Superdome itself at Charity Hospital. I am here with Mr. Eric Sidney. He is the guru, the man who loves and breathes the black and gold of the New Orleans Saints, also from the great city of New Orleans. Welcome, Mr. Sidney.
Hey, man, appreciate you having me. I just want to clarify one thing because I know how people from the city are. I was raised in Kenner, not Orleans Parish. I know how y'all could be about that, even though I could get to the Superdome quicker than you.
Well, everyone, this is the first iteration of many shows.
Hopefully, yeah.
DFW SaintsTalk. Why DFW SaintsTalk? I'm so glad you asked. We live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Why? Because they pay us to be here. Okay? But we believe the black and gold. We love it. And our host and the guru of everything that has to do with New Orleans Saints, maybe not the cheerleaders, but everything else, is Mr. Eric Sidney. So, Mr. Sidney, this is your show. I'm here to help you bring the message to the fan base here in DFW, and let's keep our people educated on what's going on with our beloved team.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that, Saints fans, we're one of the more educated fan bases when it comes to our football team. We follow them year round. Especially with social media, we're able to keep track of transactions, and we get together right here in the Metroplex. You'll see people going to different venues where they'll have Saints watch parties. We're very passionate about our football team, so I hope that we're able to provide Saints fans in the DFW market, or even outside of the DFW market, with another option to just have passionate fans that speak about our team and keep it honest and keep it real.
Okay. All right, so this is the rundown we're going to have for you guys today for our show. We're going to talk about the latest transactions that's been going on with the team to kind of set the tone for our 2018 season. We're going to talk about some of the current needs of the team that we have in the various positions on both offense and defense, draft prospects that could possibly fill those particular spots, as well as we're going to talk about the high-level prospects for those who are in our division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, and the Carolina Panthers, from the aspect of maybe some splash transactions done recently, some of the needs that they have on those teams that we're going to exploit this year, and also possible draft picks that they may do as well that could affect how we maneuver our talent to play these guys twice a year. We're getting a summary statement from Mr. Sidney, and also review some rumors, whether past, present, or future possible rumors going on with the team. And we'll have a fun segment where we're going to caption some photos. We're going to get Eric's initial reaction to some of these photos. It could be about football or maybe not. And we'll also provide you guys opportunities to give us some feedback on some of that as well. So enjoy the show, and here we go, Mr. Sidney. So the first thing we have to talk about today are the latest transactions. Can you let us know what's going on there?
Yeah, so really just a quick recap of the latest transactions, obviously starting from the end of last season. After that miracle in Minnesota, as it's been called. The Saints really have addressed a lot of sneaky, I don't want to say sneaky, but they've really addressed some low-key areas of need that maybe it didn't really create a lot of buzz during the free agency wave. I know that we went after, Ndamukong Suh, Jimmy Graham, those big names, but I really like what we've added to the team, and not just added, but retained. You got to think about it. The Saints we haven't lost any of our position coaches, so there's some continuity there. We were able to address our linebacker position, getting a sideline linebacker like Demario Davis from the Jets. We were able to get a slot corner with Patrick Robinson, The slot position, the Saints tried to fill it with Kenny Vaccaro, didn't work. P.J. Williams didn't work. Devontae Harris, number 21, was a disaster with him. So getting Patrick Robinson, Demario Davis to a defense that is already improving was real big for this team. On the offensive side of the ball, we lost Clemente to the Houston Texans. He went there for an opportunity to start. But if you recall, in the 2017 season, he was really huge for us. Anytime that there was an injury, especially in the interior offensive line, whether it's Andrus Peat, Max Unger, Larry Warford, he was able to really step into those positions, whether it was center or guard, and fill in. The Saints brought back, Jermon Bushrod for his second stint with the team, and he'll be able to add, some of that depth that was lost with the departure of Clemente.
You look like you had a little bit of a thought when you said Bushrod's name. Can you help me understand why your mouth twitched as you said Jermon Bushrod?
Well, it's to me, I'm not comfortable if Jermon Bushrod comes into a game or for a number of games if Andrus Peat, who's always dealt with injuries here and there throughout his young career, if Max Unger goes down, I don't know about Bushrod filling in and playing center in his absence, because if you recall, Bushrod was a tackle when he was with the Saints back when we actually won the Super Bowl back in 2009. So, we can get back into that. I like the addition of it just from a depth purpose, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with Bushrod filling in for a number of games if needed. So that's kind of why I switched a little bit on that. But I still like the pick. It's inexpensive. We didn't really go over we didn't sign anybody to huge deals. One of the later deals that we did was pick up Cameron Meredith from the Chicago Bears. He's coming off of an ACL injury, but the Saints last year, uncharacteristically under Sean Payton, they really weren't a good team on third down. I want to say they were ranked, in the bottom half of the league. I think they were somewhere in the 20s. So if you recall, on third down, a lot of our drives stalled out on third down, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that, Brandon Coleman really wasn't a big, reliable target. He was a great blocker as a wide receiver, but, he wasn't that guy that'll haul in 50, 60 catches, which is what we've accustomed to seeing out of the slot position. Michael Thomas had to play the slot a lot. So I think adding Cameron Meredith was a huge acquisition for this team, especially if he can return back to his 2016 form before his injury.
And you're talking about needs of the Saints, which is a nice segue into our next segment here. We're going to talk about some of the needs in the various positions. So I'll just go through each major position area, and you can kind of comment on our needs there, whether there's some there or not. So first, of course, flagship position will be a quarterback for the Saints.
It's hard to say it's a need when you still consider that Drew Brees is playing at an elite all-pro level. However, Father Time is undefeated. At some point, the Saints have to have a contingency plan in place. With that being said, you really can't think of many teams that have had a scenario where an older quarterback retired and they had a replacement already in place. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Outside of that, I can't think of many that had an elite quarterback, and then right behind them there was a quarterback that was being groomed. So it is a luxury. It is a possibility.
Brett
Favre. I wouldn't say that it's a huge need. At this point in the draft, I would consider it kind of a luxury pick, because I don't anticipate 2018 being Drew Brees' last year. I think Drew Brees can still play, 2 more seasons at a higher level. So do you really want to draft a player in the first round that's going to sit for 2 years? I don't know. So given the overall depth with Drew Brees, Tom Savage is a veteran backup, which is what he would be. They have Taysom Hill, who played special teams last year. I'd like to see how he performs in the preseason, just to see what kind of talent he has besides running down on special teams for tackles. So it is an impending need eventually, but I don't know if it's a need where I would say it's something that you trade up in the first round to get.